This is Lacy Rice from the Greater Hardin County Women's Network, and today we're speaking with Debbie Donnelly, the Hardin County, Kentucky clerk. And today's topic is the upcoming primary elections. How you doing today, Debbie?
Fine, thanks. Thank you for inviting me to do this morning.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to do this. We know a lot of residents in Hardin County would like information on the upcoming elections, especially with the changes. We're still in the COVID pandemic, and so things still aren't back to what we would deem as normal. So, could you tell us about the elections? When are they? And what can we expect? What setup do you have this year?
Okay. The election day is May the 17th. Now, right now, we have excused mail in absentee ballots. And if you fit the criteria, if you're going to be out of county from 6 to 6, age, illness, disability, there's so many scenarios that you can request one of those. And how you do that is you go to govote.ky.gov. It used to be .com. They've changed that to .gov. So you go on the portal there and request your ballot, and then we mail you that ballot. Now, when you mail that back, it's $1.36 for you to mail that back. If you don't want to mail that back, we have drop boxes. One in county clerk's foyer, and then we have one ballot box out in the lobby of the main lobby of the building. We have cameras on both of them. We can see both of them. So you have an opportunity to drop that mailed ballot off, or you can mail it in, like I said, and it's $1.36 to mail that. And after May the 3rd, so May the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and the 9th, 10th, and 11th, we will have in-house excused absentee voting. So that means that you can come to the county clerk's office and vote by absentee in-house. But there again, it's excused. So I believe they did this because if someone finds out that at the last minute that they are going to be out of the county, out of the state, and what am I to do? The excused mail-in absentee it's over. So they amended House Bill 574, and the amendment number is House Bill 564. They amended that so people that something comes up at the last minute, then they can come into our office and vote. So then on May the 12th, 13th, and 14th, that is going to be our early voting. So that is unexcused. So anyone that's a registered voter here in Hardin County can come into our office, and the hours for that will be 7:45 a.m. to 4:30. So that is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you have the 3 days to come in and vote early. And like I said, that's unexcused. So anyone can come in during those 3 days to vote. To me, that is your best bet, because if you wait for election day and something comes up, then you've lost your vote. So this way you have 4 days, let's say, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or election day. So whatever works best for you, hopefully the early voting will work best for you. So, and on election day, the polls are open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now we will be having voting centers. We will have 7 of those. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that you can go to any one of those 7 voting centers and vote. So like if you live in Upton, but you work in Radcliffe, you don't get off until close to 6. You can run over to North Hardin High School, their gymnasium, and vote there. And people will ask, well, do I get my ballot? Yes, you do. You get your ballot just like you were setting or going to Upton. You get your ballot that pertains to you. So that is why we're doing the voting centers, because when we just had precincts, what we ran into was a lot of times people coming from work, they would go to the wrong precinct and say, it's like 10 till 6. Well, you have to be in line at 6 o'clock to be able to vote. And if you're not, you do not get to vote. So we ran into, some of that. And so the voting centers solves that issue. And like I said, if you work in one area and live in another one, you can go to any one of those 7 voting centers. And let me just give you a list of those. North Hardin High School Gymnasium, Pritchard Community Center, Lincoln Trail Elementary Gymnasium. When I call off the schools, these are going to be in the gymnasium because that's the largest part of the school, so we can get more voters in there. Creekside Elementary, Lakewood Elementary, West Point School Building, and Meeting Creek, that's the 84 Fire Department. So we chose Meeting Creek. There's a lot of people down in there, and so we went ahead and put one at the 84 Fire Department. But all these others, like I said, any one of them is going to be convenient to you, because where you're at is in like a 5 or 6 mile radius. So North Hardin High School, as you know, in 2020, we had voting centers then, and we got nothing but praise over that. We only had four voting centers. And like I said, we got nothing but praise over that. We went ahead and 3 more this time, just to do that. But like I said, it's the voting centers is the way to go. And the early voting, we got so much praise over that, and that was held here at the office. And I had comments that, people said, Debbie, I never thought this would work. I never thought this would work. They said, it's amazing. I love it. So we are so glad that the legislators gave us 3 days of early voting. Now in 2020, as everyone knows, that was the pandemic. Everything was just different that year. And so, but we are so glad. We worked hard for them to give us let us keep some of the early voting. We would have liked to had a few more days, but we're glad that they gave us the 3. Excuse me. And let's see. See, on the ballot, there's going to be some races that will be decided in the May primary. And those being the county judges race, Constable 1 race, Constable 3 race, Magistrate 7th District race, and Constable 7th District race as well. Those will all be decided in the May primary. So I hope people will get out to vote. To me, that should be at the top of your priority, is to vote, because then you have a voice to make a difference. And I've had people to say to me, well, I don't vote because my vote doesn't matter. And I said, no, it's just the opposite. Your vote matters, and then you have a voice to what happens and what goes on. So here is hoping that people will get out for the May primary and vote. And another thing, in the 2020 election, the May primary, which was held June the 23rd, we found then that a lot of people do not vote in the May primary. Your May primary is for your party. You can only vote for your party in a May primary. And we had so many that came back to the table and said, you give us the wrong ballot. Well, everyone's human. So we thought, okay, let's pull this up. Said, so sorry, let's pull this up, pulled it up. And no, we had given them the correct ballot. So what we did is send them over to the election department. They had their computer up. And so we sent them over there. They pulled their card, their voter registration card up that they had signed, turned that around, let them look at it, and they said, oh, I didn't know I registered that way. So a lot of it is people only vote in the general election. Well, the May primary is just as important, if not more, because you are electing your party to go on to be in that general election. So there again, that was our issues in that primary. And so people just need to remember, when you go to vote in the May primary, you vote for your party that you're registered with. So, but other than that, and what I did for the voting centers is I sent an IT person and a clerk from the office to each location. And that's my plans this time too. So, because you ran against the same thing that we ran against here when we were doing the early voting. That's I didn't register that way. So there again, they could pull it up and here's your signature. And so that worked so well. So where we didn't have to slow down the line. And so people were in and out. So that's my plans to do the same thing this time as well. So we can keep the lines moving for people.
Okay. What's the deadline for people to register? Like you said, because the primary is for party primarily, only Democrats and Republicans can vote during the primary. What's the deadline for them to register?
That is coming up. It's next Monday, April the 18th at 11:59 p.m. Because if you go on govote.ky.gov, you have to 11:59 p.m. Now, keep in mind, you cannot change your party, because to change your party, that deadline was December the 31st. So we have had people to come in and say, hey, I want to change my party. We say to them, if you change your party, you will not be able to vote in the May primary. So keep that in mind. So really, that deadline, April the 18th, is for new registrants. If you're doing an address change, that sort, but you cannot change your party.
Okay. Now, after the May primary, can you change your party?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because the May primary is for party only. That's why you got that cutoff. And so after the May primary, yes, you can change your party. But keep in mind, there again, the general election, you can vote any way you want to, no matter how you're registered. But if you want to go ahead and get that out of the way after the May primary, yes, you can change your party then. And also, I want to bring out that if a high school student is 17 and they're going to be 18 on or before the November election, they can register to vote and vote in the May primary. So they will be eligible to vote in the May primary. So that, that gives those students, they can go ahead and start voting.
Okay. Okay. Now, as far as the voting centers, approximately, or will it differentiate how many booths are there for people to use?
I'm sorry, how many booths? Or what?
Right.
Okay.
According to each voting center, are there different numbers that will be there?
Yes. Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up. Yes. North Hardin High School, the gymnasium will have more, and then the Pritchard Community Center will have more. And reason being is your population, and then where people work, because you'll have people that work in Louisville, and they're going to come through. Well, they'll come through West Point first, but uh, they'll have North Hardin there, the gymnasium, to go to and vote, so they won't have to worry about not being able to vote. So yes, we will have more at North Hardin and the Pritchard Community Center.
Okay. And so you said that the last time things moved very quickly, you were able to get people in and out without the long lines. Is that correct? Hello? Oh, I think I lost her. Hello, Debbie? Okay. It seems that we lost her for a moment. Hopefully, she will come back. But some key takeaways at this particular point.
Okay, we're back. I lost you.
Okay.
Yeah, the connection was disabled. I don't know what happened there. It just the screen went black. So I don't know what happened. It said I lost my connection.
Yeah, it looked like you froze for a second right when I was asking the question. Actually, I was asking you about the speed. You had mentioned that people had praised about how quickly they were able to get in and out. Um, are you forecasting that for this election as well?
Yes, pretty much so. Like I said, we'll have more election officers at the North Hardin and at Pritchard, and you'll have a little larger ballot this time. And so, but it should go just as smooth and just as fast. The only difference that we had for 2020 is we had the National Guard helping us, which was a truly an asset, because they um, anything that we needed, hand sanitizer, cleaning the booths. I mean, they were uh, parking people. It was amazing. Now, keep in mind, we won't have that this time, because 2020 was just a different, just different for everyone. And so we will not have that this time. But yes, it should go just as smooth on election day as well. And like I said, you can come in here on that May the 12th, 13th, and 14th, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to vote early. And so the hours will be 7:45 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. all 3 days, even that Saturday. So um, I'm hoping that a lot of people will take advantage of that, because, like I said, you never know what's going to happen for that one day. So that, you know, percentage wise, I hope that I just hope people gets out and votes. Yes. Now
So,
we will have, oh, I'm
mhm.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we will be training the election officers. Our
Mhm.
first training is April the 28th, and then we'll have another training that's on a Thursday. The next training is May the 7th, and that's on a Saturday. So we do the morning from 9 to 11. They have to have a 2-hour training. If they do not have that 2-hour training, they cannot serve as an election officer. So
Okay.
they have to go through the training.
Okay. So, well, this is a question I'm pretty sure a lot of people will have. Will there be people who are designated as, I don't know what you want to call them, witnesses, watchers, or whatever, proctors or whatever? people that will be watching, at each of the at each of the sitters? Are there going to be people like that?
Challengers. Uh,
Um, yeah, I don't know what you call them. I know
mhm.
they represent the parties, and
Yes,
they just kind of watch and whatnot.
yes. They have to actually, their names have to be turned into us, and they actually have to go through the class too. So it's not just you show up and do this. That is not allowed. And so, but the deadline for that is this Friday, April the 15th, if they're turned into their chairs. And then they have to turn those into the County Board of Elections to us as well. And so, challengers, yes, have to go through the class as well. And you just cannot show up and want to be a challenger. Now, you cannot have any election or signs or anything like that. It's 100 feet to the door of where that voting location is. So if it's a private, let's say a private business, um, they're excluded then. But as far as anyone coming and just putting their signs there at that precinct, those will be taken up if that happens. And usually the election officers, the sheriff of that center can say, hey, you've got signs out here that someone's put up. We're taking those down. We need you to come and get those. We had one incident that was probably in 2000, if it's 15, 17, somewhere right in there, that it was the Howe Valley precinct. There was signs put up at the school location. The election officer, the sheriff, noticed that and went out, and they called us, and we said, well, take those down. So they took them down and just laid them down. Well, they go back out later, and those signs are back up. So then that's when we called the sheriff's office, and the sheriff sent a deputy there, and they took those signs and brought those back. So you cannot do anything. There's rules and regulations with everything, and that's so with your elections. So you cannot put signs up at the precincts or the voting centers that day. Now, if you have your attire on and you go in and vote, you go in and vote and you leave. You cannot stand around and talk, because we consider that they're doing that to gain attention to their party or person that they want elected. So there again, the sheriff will ask them to leave if they notice someone standing around just talking, because you're fine if you walk in with it and uh, vote and leave. But there again, you cannot stand around talking, and that goes for vehicles. Um, as long as you're there to vote and you have a sticker on your car or a sign, uh, there again, you can vote, but you have to leave. You cannot leave that vehicle parked at that location. And the sheriff's, of course, the sheriff, the county board is made up of 4 individuals. That is your Republican Party, your Democrat Party, your sheriff, and your county clerk. Now, the sheriff, the way the law is, cannot sit on the County Board of Elections uh, during the year when they are running for office. So therefore, they have to appoint someone to sit in for them during that time. So once they file to run, then they cannot sit on the board until the election is over with. So we have the sheriff's, on board. So, and they actually have deputies going around to the different locations that day, periodically out through the day, to just make sure that everything is going good. And really, overall, in Hardin County, we don't have an issue. which is great. Um, we abide by those rules, and which that should be the way it is for every location. But here in Hardin County, we do a great job overall.
Well, that pretty much answered my question. That was going to be my next question about security at
Mm.
the polls, but you've already answered that, so I appreciate that. Um, and I know you have another appointment coming up, so not to belabor you or anything. Are there any final words that you would like to say as far as voting this year, especially during the primary?
Well, I just hope that people takes the time to vote, because you have four ways to vote. Well, of course, the mail-in is excused. It's excused. The in-person absentee is excused. The early voting is unexcused. So those 3 days, anyone can come into our office and vote. And then, of course, election day, May the 17th. And there again, I will say the early voting is 7:45 to 4:30. Election day is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So, and make sure you have your driver's license with you, because you scan those in the e-poll book and that brings your information up. So, if you don't have that, if you have a state ID or a county ID with your photo on it, but there again, they did keep the credit cards. So you can show one of those. But I just hope people go to vote, because your voice does make a difference.
Okay. And once again, for those who would like to register up through Monday, that is
Monday,
at govote.ky.gov.
correct. And you
And
have until
mhm,
11:59 on that portal, 11:59 p.m. If you come in here to the office to register, uh, our office closes at 4:30. We open at 7:45, so you're welcome to come in 7:45 to 4:30 and register to vote here, filling out a card. But if you want to go online at, like you said, govote.ky.gov, you can go on that portal and vote, and you have until 11:59 p.m. that night.
okay. Well, we definitely thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to speak to us. Um, we know that your office is usually up and hopping, and you wear a lot of hats. You do a lot of different things, and voting, elections. Those are just one of the many things that fall up under your umbrella. So we definitely thank you for taking the time out to talk to the voters about this upcoming primary in May, or next month actually, and hope that people are engaged and participate in what is their right in this country and in the Commonwealth.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Lacy. Anytime, I am more than um, glad to speak to anyone. My door's always open here. So if you want to come by, you're welcome to do that. And let me just put out a phone number for our election department: 270-765-6762. And I'll give you my cell, 270-307-0616. So if you have any further questions or anything else pertaining to the office, uh, give me a call. And like I said, my door's always open. I'll answer your call, and I'll call you back. So if I don't get it right then, you will get a call back.
And before we let you go, can you give us the address for those who do not know where the Hardin County offices are?
Okay. Yes, we're located at 150 North Provident Way, Suite 103. Again, 150 North Provident Way, Suite 103, and that's of course here in E-Town. It's just right off of you. If you're coming from Radcliffe or the northern end, you'll do Joe Prather. You got so many different ways. Joe Prather or 31W. You get on Patriots Parkway, Ring Road. There's so many ways to come into us. So we look forward to seeing you hopefully here for early voting. And again, please vote.
Okay. Well, thank you very much once again. And we hope that you have a very good, productive week. And let you get back to what you got to do today.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lacy.
All right. Thank you, Debbie.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.